What's up guys, Enkiri here, and no jokes today, I want to be serious here. Now, I stumbled across a comment recently that I found rather intriguing, mostly because I think it's a sentiment that's shared by a lot of the people who comment on YouTube fitness videos. And I think the logic that it's based on is completely flawed, at least as it pertains to someone like me. So I'm just going to flash it up here real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, I could give a shit about the first part of the comment, Jeff having a lot of subscribers and people supposedly being inexplicably butthurt about it, even though it has absolutely no impact on them personally, and blah blah blah, because he's just putting words in people's mouths there, which amusingly enough seems to be a favorite pastime both of certain people who comment on YouTube fitness videos as well as certain content creators themselves, but that's another point for another day. Now, I don't proclaim to be a powerlifter. At one point, I did kind of sort of consider myself to be one, but it certainly had nothing to do with other people and what they think is popular or cool. But I honestly believe at this point that my training reflects my lack of powerlifting-oriented goals in a pretty painstakingly and glaringly obvious fashion. So to continually see people try to use that argument against me is growing tiresome. And in regards to the other part, if training world-class athletes means doing what Cavalier does, then guess what? I have absolutely no interest in doing that either. The part I really want to focus on though is the last part of the comment here. No one cares about your farmer's walk in your backyard or your back squat in your garage. It seems innocuous enough at first glance, right? But then you stop and you think about it for 2 seconds and you start to see a very big problem with the logic that it's based on. And I think that same logic reveals a lot more about the individuals who think this way than this sort of off-base comment possibly reveals about me. Because the obvious inference here is that we choose to do the things we do, at least in regards to physical training, because those are the things that we think will make us popular, or that other people will find to be cool or impressive or whatever the hell. But it all ultimately relates back to being concerned about how other people are perceiving you and trying to make sure that that perception always skews positive, and then molding your actions and your behaviors around what that entails. But the thing is, I don't think that way, and I never have. I've never been concerned about what other people are thinking about me, and how they perceive me is certainly never going to dictate what behaviors I choose to engage in or how I choose to live my life. You're not even in the right area code in terms of how my brain is wired if that's what you think. Everything I do in my own training is done because I find it fun and it keeps me satisfied. That's it. I may find certain exercises and activities to be fun or satisfying now because I noticed over the years that those were the things that actually brought me closer to my goals. And as they moved me closer to where I wanted to be, I was able to begin to derive enjoyment and satisfaction out of performing the activities themselves rather than merely receiving the rewards they confer after the fact. And then if you look at it a little bit deeper from the perspective of the actual goals themselves, my goals are what they are because I think it's cool to be really fucking strong and be really fucking fast and well conditioned and be able to jump high and far and be agile and quick and all that other bullshit. It has nothing to do with anything other than what I personally have always found to be the most impressive and formidable set of physical characteristics a person can possess ever since I was a kid. And I've worked hard over the years to gain those physical characteristics for myself because I always knew that was what I wanted to be. But it has nothing to do with popularity or what other people think is cool or acceptable or something you should be doing or anything even remotely resembling any of those notions. It's simply a set of ideals and standards that I formulated on my own through my observations and my preferences and my experiences over the years. Ultimately, it really boils down to intrinsic versus extrinsic motivational factors. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that deriving your motivation for life from extrinsic factors is inherently a bad thing. Because if it gets you off your ass and helps you get to where you want to be, then cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But I will say that it's a double-edged sword, because those same extrinsic factors that may have provided you with a needed kick in the butt also leave you vulnerable to the whims of everyone and everything around you. If everything you set out to do in life is contingent on making other people happy and controlling and molding other people's opinion of you, then you're always going to be a victim of their thoughts and their ideas and their whims, which can and will change in the blink of an eye. And in my opinion, you'll never get very far in any endeavor like that. Not to mention, if you do somehow succeed in spite of those odds, you haven't really succeeded for your own sake. You've succeeded for other people's sake. You aren't even deriving satisfaction from the source of the endeavor itself or even for yourself. You're deriving it almost by proxy from the people who you were trying to impress in the first place. And that has to feel hollow. It all just sounds a little bit misguided to me. And like I said, I honestly don't believe that anyone who's truly and purely extrinsically motivated really truly ever makes it very far in any field. Use it as a kick in the butt to get yourself going if you need to. But at some point, you need to find your own motivation. It has to become intrinsic at some point along the way. The activity that you're performing itself needs to become a sustaining source of satisfaction. Your goals, not someone else's goals or society's goals for you, need to become their own source of self-sustaining motivation. That's the only way, in my opinion, to truly keep the wheels churning and guide you towards ultimate success. There's a reason why the best athletes are often considered massively selfish individuals. And it's because they see their goals and the things they must do to reach them, and they see nothing else. And everything going on around them has no bearing on them or their actions, because they're motivated by factors that outside influences can't see or touch and have absolutely no control over. And that's simply how I view the world. I want what I want because I want it. It's not because of you. It's not because of what the internet says or what society at large thinks I should be striving for. It's because of me and who I am and what I see and what I want myself to become. Call me cringy, call me an incel, call me a manlet, call me autistic, whatever your lame ass only found on the internet term du jour for people who are better than you is. I don't give a fuck, because you're just projecting anyway. I will leave you with this analogy though, since we're already getting all cringy here today anyway. I watched one single anime when I was growing up, and I'm sure you already guessed it. Fucking Dragon Ball Z, of course. I know you guys love that shit because you reference it all the time in my comments. Well, guess who the most intrinsically motivated motherfucker of all time is? Goku. His goal was to be the best, simply for the sake of being the best, overcoming all challenges and challengers along the way, and constantly reaching for new heights and breaking past barriers, just because no matter what, he was arrogant enough to always think that he was capable of more, and he simply wanted to see how far he could go. No practical reason needed. On the other hand, his best bud and worst nemesis, Vegeta, was extrinsically motivated. His goal was essentially the same, to be the best. But his motivation for getting there didn't come from within himself. It came from his deep-seated hatred for Goku. He wanted to be the best because he wanted to be better than Goku. He didn't want it for the sake of wanting it. He didn't draw his motivation from within. He drew it from Goku. And I think you guys already know how that story turned out. Anyway, that's all I got for today, guys. Please be sure to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And definitely leave me some love in the comments down below. Keep training hard, and I will catch you guys next time.